Just give us a high-level view of what's going on with Bitcoin itself right now.
Yeah, my first speech on the beach. Very excited. Just like I'm excited about Bitcoin, I actually think this is a historic inflection point for Bitcoin because all of the very important questions have been resolved to the satisfaction of the asset. The question is it a commodity or a security? That's really, really critical. The second question is there any other digital commodity? A third question is, how does the administration view it, right? There's always the question of, will it be copied, will it be banned, will it be hacked? So what we've seen over the past 12 months is we saw the spot ETFs approved. They were historically successful. Then we saw a red sweep. Now we see an administration where every single cabinet member is pro-Bitcoin. Every financial cabinet member, the head of the SEC, Treasury, and CFTC, pro-Bitcoin. And then the question is, will the administration be clear or ambiguous? Well, Trump created the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, very clear. And then he hosted the Digital Assets Summit Friday about a week and a half ago. And then that night, the crypto czar, David Sachs, went on television. And in an interview on television, he said that Bitcoin is the only crypto asset recognized as decentralized by the administration. Well, that's code word if you understand the law, understand securities law, understand finance. If that's the only asset decentralized, that means that the only crypto commodity recognized by the United States government and therefore by the entire financial establishment is Bitcoin. Ergo, Bitcoin has emerged as digital gold with the endorsement of the U.S. federal government, with the endorsement of Wall Street.
I want to hear more, but do you mean this to say that there is no other digital asset that we recognize as a commodity, not Ether, not anything else? Is that where you're going with this?
That's what I'm saying. And by the way, that's not what I'm saying. That's what David Sachs said on television. David Sachs reports to the President of the United States, and what he said was, this is the one we recognize as decentralized. Bitcoin is special. We're going to hold it forever. We're never going to sell it. Okay, that's clarity, right? If you're looking for the crypto gold or a digital gold or a digital capital asset that's a store of value, that's Bitcoin. I'll make one legal point.
Where does this leave the other crypto assets?
I'll lay that out too. The legal point is it is illegal to capitalize a public company on a security.
Brace yourselves for the unveiling of a game-changing event set to rock the cryptocurrency landscape once more. At the forefront of this groundbreaking shift is none other than Michael Saylor, a maverick figure who has defied Wall Street norms to carve out a niche in the realm of Bitcoin investments. But what new and crazy ideas did Saylor come up with? Only one way to find out. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy Crypto.
So you can only capitalize, but when I say capitalize, I mean if I have $1 billion of liquid assets, I can buy $1 billion of real estate, $1 billion of gold, $1 billion of soybeans, $1 billion of crude oil, or $1 billion of Bitcoin. I cannot buy $1 billion of Mag 7 stocks, $1 billion of Apple, $1 billion of the S&P index. And so the fact that Bitcoin is recognized as a commodity and the only crypto commodity it creates a very safe haven for any public company or public company investor looking for the winner. And what's the implication? It's this. The administration is very pro-digital assets. In my opinion, when the dust settles, there's going to be digital commodities, of which Bitcoin is the only universally acknowledged one. There may be some over the next decade. It'll be very hard to overcome that bar. And I think David Sachs said that as well. He said, it's possible that maybe we'll recognize another asset as decentralized. We don't right now. And there's maybe going to be half a dozen of those in the next 10 or 20 years. That's very rare. The second is a digital currency. That's a stable coin, and so the government's gonna pass. I think the Genius Act will be passed the U.S. government will allow a U.S. regulated company or bank to issue a stable coin as long as it's backed by treasuries, by currency equivalents in a U.S. Regulated institution. The third asset will be digital securities. That's tokenized stocks and bonds. I think you'll have to be a regulated entity. BlackRock will issue digital securities. You'll get a digital share of Apple or a digital ETF. And they'll circulate 24/7, 365. And then the last will be a digital token.
As the financial arena braces for the launch of the REX Bitcoin Corporate Treasury Convertible Bond ETF with the intriguing ticker symbol BMAX, investors find themselves on the cusp of a paradigm shift. Amidst the commotion, CEO Greg King of REX Financial sheds light on the significance of this new ETF, opening up avenues for retail traders to dip their toes into untapped potential.
Right now, the SEC is going through an elaborate set of meetings to determine what constitutes a security. Trump coin will not be a security. We know that. Sachs has even said that. It's likely going to end up being deemed a token. And I think if I'm in the crypto industry, the takeaway is the only thing where you've got regulatory clarity, if you're going to put $1 billion bet on right now, the only thing you would do is put $1 billion bet on Bitcoin as a long-term store of value. That is clear. The president said he wants the digital assets framework on his desk by August at the White House a week and a half ago. I think you will have clarity that will be passed into law and signed by the president sometime in 2025 that will create a very clear path for digital currency, digital tokens, and digital securities. They're coming. But right now, the real news of the past 2 weeks is there's one digital commodity endorsed by the U.S. federal government.
I just want to start off again with the first question about where Bitcoin is. So we were at 100, now it's 80. Can you give us some thoughts on what might happen in the next few months around Bitcoin, and to what extent is the current volatility overall in the markets affecting Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin is the most useful financial asset in the world. On Twitter, or on X this weekend, the chatter was someone posted $10 million and took like a 40-to-1 leveraged short bet. And so where else can you actually get $500 million of credit by posting $10 million of collateral on the weekend? And so you have massive, massive leverage available, massive liquidity available. And whenever there's a macro theme, if people are wanting to be short risk assets or short anything, the one thing you can short 40-to-1, cross-collateralized by anything, is Bitcoin. So it's going to be more it's going to be more volatile. But I actually think that this is kind of a historic entry point because all of the risk has been stripped off the asset. Like, you pretty much know Wall Street's going to embrace it, the U.S. government's going to embrace it, and banks in the U.S. are going to embrace it, which means that all the other banks will embrace it. You already know all those things, and yet the market is really skittish based upon concerns about tariffs, you know, the disposition of the U.S. economy, the interest rate forward graph. And so you see the interest rates have pulled in 30, 40, 50 basis points, and we're in this macro risk-off zone. When that flips, I think Bitcoin will rip forward with a vengeance.
Companies like Strategy and Mara Holdings are spearheading a financial revolution, blurring the lines between traditional investments and the ever-evolving crypto space. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
You said Wall Street's going to embrace it, and that is true, but still, it's limited. I've been talking to these RIAs here. Many of them are very interested in Bitcoin, but a lot of them have questions when I walk around and say, what do you want to hear from Michael Saylor? They say, well, we're still concerned about suitability issues. We still have issues about recommending them to our clients. This is still a real concern. What do you say to those who are still concerned about suitability?
The only asset endorsed by a president of the United States in 50 years is Bitcoin. I mean, go back in the last 200 years in the history of the country, and I think if you go to the founding fathers, they wrote in the Constitution that money is silver and gold coin. And then at some point there was a chicken in every pot, and maybe with the founding of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we endorsed everybody to single-family home ownership. But in the 21st century, you have just one asset, Bitcoin. The president saying, don't sell your Bitcoin. Saying more than that, saying the United States won't sell its Bitcoin. And so everything else you put your client into, if the US government seized any other security that you sold to a client, if they seized any collectible, any art, any real estate, they would sell it. The only thing that the US government won't sell if they are to seize it is Bitcoin.
As we reflect on the whirlwind of events surrounding the rise of convertible bonds and the entwined fate of Bitcoin-centric companies, one can't help but wonder about the future. Could this be the golden ticket, the key to unlocking unprecedented growth and prosperity? What do you think? Share your thoughts. And finally, if you would like to know more about cryptocurrencies or specifically Bitcoin, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.